Okay, inshallah. You guys can hear me? Can y'all hear me on Zoom? Is my sound on in Zoom? Must not be. Hold on.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Thanks. Okay. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our class on the lawful and the unlawful. And again, every Muslim, for those of you who are not aware of it, every Muslim is supposed to know the lawful and the unlawful things in regards to our everyday lives. We're supposed to know what's lawful and what's unlawful for us to eat. We're supposed to know what's lawful and what's unlawful for us to wear. And alhamdulillah, we've covered all the different aspects of life over the past year. I've been teaching this class for a year now. All of these classes began, after last Ramadan. And here it is, almost Ramadan again. So almost a year I've been teaching these classes. We've covered all aspects of the lawful and the unlawful. What's lawful and unlawful in regards to food, in regards to drink, in regards to clothing, in regards to marriage. We even talked about lawful and unlawful in marriage. We talked about the lawful and unlawful in divorce, in clothing, in jewelry, utensils. We even talked about lawful and unlawful animals to have. Okay? We talked about unlawful and lawful in regards to prayer and all of that. We've covered all facets of life. And so we're almost at the end of this journey. This journey, which has been a great journey for me personally. I love teaching about the lawful and the unlawful because it helps keep those hadiths vibrant on my mind so that I can always throw them out when people come to me and try to tell me it's haram to wear makeup. It's haram to wear colors. It's haram to be beautiful. It's haram to teach Islam. It's haram to have a loud voice. When them people come at me, I can flip-flop through those hadiths and throw them in their face so quick. And they look at me like, she making them up. Nope, I ain't making them up. They right there. You just never read them because you can't read or you just don't know. So, I enjoy teaching the lawful and unlawful. It's one of my great pleasures of life, So, alhamdulillah, we're almost at the end of this journey. And so what I want you guys to do before I get into today's topic, today we're going to speak about capital punishment. A lot of you, in fact, the last time we met last week, you guys were asking me about suicide. Why is it that some brothers tell you that it's haram? And I mean that if a person commits suicide, that they might be forgiven and all that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what I want to tell everybody is this. I'm going to put a flyer out tonight. In fact, after this class, it's snowing here where I live too. I said, oh, wait a minute, the snow came. I saw the other computer with the snow on. I'm like, is snow coming to my house? Because I saw the cats. The cats are playing in the window over there. But anyway, I want you guys to go to lailanasheeba.com. In fact, I'm going to make a little flicker because he posted it up now. I want you guys to go to this link, adleyonline.com. This is Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atley's website. Y'all know I only use his books and Kareem Abu Zaid's. And I want you guys to purchase the book he just put out. It's called Articles of Belief. This is why I keep going back to his books. Oh, man. He might make me angry sometimes, but I'm always back up in his face with his books. Because one thing about the old man is all about Allah. It's all about Allah. It's all about Allah. Hello. Can't take that away from him. And that's what he does, is pump out these books. And he knows that I'm going to teach him because he knows I'm all about Allah too. I'm all about Allah too. I'm all about Allah too. And I'm all about Aqidah, and Hadith. That's me. I ain't got time for that political garbage that you brothers waste your time with. I ain't got time for no school of thought. Who cares about anybody's school of hard knock thoughts? I don't care about no sheikh. I don't care about no fatwa. All I care about is Aqidah, Hadith. In that order. So he got a new book he just put out. I'm going to put a flyer out. The book is entitled Articles of Belief. I want y'all to go to his website and order it. The book is only $5, but with the shipping, it's going to be $10. And for those of you who live in the United Kingdom, by the way, where's Elma? Elma? Hello? Elma? I want you guys to go there and order the ebook. He has the ebook. Sister Elma, Sarah, the people in Canada, United Kingdom, the Australians I got here, you guys can order the book. He has it as an ebook. So go to www.atleonline.com, because what this book is about, again, in our 6 o'clock class, we're covering what the meaning of that shahada is. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. We're going over allegiance. Well, we're going to go back and review the first part of that shahada, which are those pillars of faith. Every time I ask you guys, what does it mean when we testify La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? Nobody gives me the correct answer except today. It took my best student, Isra, to grace us with her appearance. She gave the correct answer. The way she answered today is the way every Muslim on this planet should be able to answer. So we're going to be reviewing what it means to believe La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So I want you guys to go and order that book. We talked about it in the first book that we did about Kareem Abu Zaid's on Get to Know Your Lord. We talked about those articles of belief, but we're going to break them down again. And this book that Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee put together, he breaks down again the meaning of each one of those articles of faith and what the belief in them entails. Does everybody understand that? All right. And by the way, who can tell us what is the meaning of the Arabic word Aqidah in English? What's the
belief system? Our belief system, what we believe in.
Okay. Aqidah. When you hear that Arabic term, what I'm saying in English is my belief system, my belief system, my belief system. That's what that word Aqidah means. It means your belief system. What does Tawheed mean? Most Muslims can't tell the difference between these two words either. What does Tawheed mean?
Tawheed is a belief in the oneness of Allah.
Very good. Tawheed means oneness of Allah. Oneness of Allah. Allah is one. It means Allah is one. Everybody understand that? What does the word Islam mean? What does the word Islam mean?
One who submits to Allah's command.
Is that what Islam means? One who submits to Allah's command? Anybody disagree?
It means total submission.
Very good. Islam means total submission to Allah. Total submission to Allah. Total. What does total mean? That means a total everything about me submits to Allah. Good job. What does Muslim mean? What does Muslim mean?
What I said, I had it backwards. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
one who submits to the will of Allah.
Exactly. Muslim means one or a person who submits to the will of Allah. So if I tell you I am a Muslim, what am I saying? I am telling you that I am a person who submits to the will of Allah. Y'all understand that? What was the religion of Jesus? What was Jesus' religion?
Islam.
Exactly. Jesus' religion was Islam. So was Jesus a Christian? What was Jesus? What did he refer to? Was he a Christian or a Jew? What was he?
Muslim.
Jesus was Muslim. He was a person who submitted to the will of Allah. All the prophets were Muslim. And I'm answering this question for you. You ready, brother? Here's your answer. The religion of all the prophets was Islam. Every prophet that Allah sent from Adam to the prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they lived their lives in total submission to Allah. Their religion was Islam. So, when did Islam begin? When did the religion of Islam begin?
When Allah commanded the pen to write.
Exactly. Islam did not begin with the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why I'm going to review. This is why I'm giving y'all an example as to why you're going to have to buy this book, because this is what I'm going to be teaching after I complete this series, because we have to be re-educated, because we forget. Okay, Islam did not begin with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Total submission to Allah began when he created the pen. And why did it begin with the pen and not the angels? Question of fiqh.
Because Allah commanded the pen to write what he was going to do. So the pen was the first recording of what Allah was going to do. He recorded everything. And it's in the book Al-Mafus in chapter 2 of the Quran.
Okay, anybody else? Why did Islam begin with the pen and not with the angels? Good job, but that's not correct. It's a simple answer. Why?
Because what Allah has intended for all of us to be in total submission towards him. No? Okay.
See how we can't? This is why we have to continuously review. This is a simple question. Why did total submission begin with the pen and not with anything else?
Does it have to do with free will?
Do pens have free will?
No.
Can anybody on YouTube, anybody on Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, LinkedIn, we got some Ariba. We got some Arabia people. Why did Islam begin with the pen and nothing else?
Because the pen was the first thing that Allah created.
Exactly. That's how simple that is. The first thing that Allah created was what, Anissa? What was the first thing Allah created, Mina?
The pen.
The pen.
I'm sorry.
The pen was the first thing Allah created. What did Allah create first, Ayah? Did the pen come first? Or did an angel come first? Or did the human come first? The first thing Allah created was the pen. The Prophet Muhammad tells us that. The first thing that Allah created was the pen. That's the first thing he created. He said, be, and it became. And then what did he do when he created that pen? After go ahead.
Commanded it to write.
He told it to write, and it wrote. That's in the Quran. Y'all see how you never understand those Quranic verses until you learn these hadiths. The hadiths are the explanation. So, the first thing that submitted to Allah was what? What was it?
The pen.
Exactly, the pen, because it was the first thing he created. So this is why, like I said, as Muslims, we forget. You know, Allah tells us in the Quran, man is always forgetful. This is just part of being a human. We don't remember anything. When the older we get, the more we forget. So we have to keep our minds vibrant and fresh by continuously reiterating the basics over and over again. So I want everybody that's listening to me to go to www.adleeonline.com. That's Muhammad Saeed Atlee's website. His books are the ones I use, just him and Kareem Abu Zaid's. Okay, Abu Zaid's books are on Amazon. Sheikh Atlee's got his own website. Hello, Articles of Belief. For those of you who do not live in America, buy the ebook. The ebook is only $1.50. I'm sure you can afford that. Some of y'all still affording that marijuana. Hello, brothers. You know, the life of a daya. You know, there's a hadith that I take some solace in. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, one of the signs that Allah is pleased with you and that Allah is happy with you is he will cause the people to need you more. While I'm sitting here talking about the Articles of Belief, I just get a text message. Y'all heard the phone. Drama again. This ain't the polygamites. It's not the polygamites. It's the brothers having a debate. Can y'all imagine what these brothers are debating and asking me to settle debate for? It's disgusting. Can you imagine what these brothers are debating and they just text me asking me to settle the score for them? Is medical marijuana lawful or not? What is these people? Friends, no. You guys and your drama. You can afford to buy some weed, but you can't afford to buy a book about a law. Marijuana is haram, brothers. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one of the signs of the last hour is we will give beautiful names to haram things. We will take things that Allah made unlawful and give them attractive names and then make them lawful. Y'all, now you see why the war is here. I don't care what no so-called shake and bake dude told you. I don't care how famous he is. I don't care how popular he is. I want all you brothers to listen to this old lady carefully. The most popular creature on this planet. Who's the most popular creature on this planet? Iblis. Ain't nobody more famous than Shaitan is. Don't nobody have more followers than Shaitan. Shaitan, he even has more followers than Allah. That's why there's going to be more people in hell than paradise. And that is my dalil. Any idiot on this planet who tells you that it is lawful for you to smoke, to recreationally smoke any or take any intoxicant, he is an awliya of Shaitan. Because Allah clearly tells you that all intoxicants are haram. The Prophet Muhammad clearly tells us that the bad of them outweighs any good in them. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly tells us that Allah did not send any cure or any treatment through anything that he made haram. All those hadiths are authentic. So now you brothers, you listening to some reefer smoking loser call himself a sheikh and tell y'all it's okay to get high, then that's your problem. And you know it ain't lawful under no circumstances. Just like interest is not lawful under no circumstances. Just like prostitution ain't lawful under no circumstances. The things that Allah made haram are haram, 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 and will remain that way until the end of time. So now, you brothers better get a clue. You better change your life real soon. Death can come at any moment. Ponder the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any man who dies a drunkard will be raised up as a kafir on the day of judgment, because he took his love for that intoxicant over his love and need for Allah. Ponder that reality as you roll in your joint, sucking it in and blowing it out. And you better hope you don't get so high that you fall and hit your head and die. Because you might be that man whose soul is pulled up from your throat, put in that dirty sack, taken up to the heavens, name written in the book of hell, and then the angels just toss you back down to your rotten body as a kafir. Is that your answer, brothers? Is that good enough? Keep on listening to these fatwa winging brothers who think they somebody because they graduated from somebody's school. I keep telling y'all, ain't no degree in Islam. Only Allah can give you a degree in Islam. Any fool can get a degree, but only a righteous person can have hikmah. Allah says hikmah is a gift that comes from him, and he only gives it to a select few. So keep following those brothers who are graduated and let them continue to lead you to the hellfire with your marijuana. Okay? All right. So let's get to the class, because it's another topic that the brothers keep asking me about. Capital punishment. Let's put it up on the screen and let me know, guys. This is this new streaming program I'm working here. How do I do it? Oh, I remember. Hold on. One of you brothers need to get some intelligence. Maybe y'all can help me work all these streaming programs I'm running. Yeah, do something constructive with your time instead of getting high. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. This is it. Inshallah, you guys should be able to see my screen. I'm getting ready to take this down because I know. And by the way, guys, take a screenshot. The reason why I'm using this program this way too, and I'm removing everything and making it full screen. In fact, I'm gonna take this down too. Hold on, let me get this caption stuff. Okay, and I'm going full screen. I want you guys to do, I'm gonna take that off too, to do like my students. They take screenshots. When I put the PowerPoint up, they use their phone and take a screenshot and then they print it out. And that way it'll be like a booklet. If you screenshot my PowerPoint and then print it out, it'll be like a booklet for you. And you can just go through your notes. You will have the hadiths, and you can also have this keep it, for eternity as your reference on whatever the topic is. Okay, it's like a book. So try to take a screenshot and print the stuff out. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to work the PowerPoint, inshallah. Let's try this. I don't think do you guys see in the Zoom room? No, they don't. Hold on. Let me put the people in Zoom on here. Hold on. Here we go. I got you. There. Now you see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I learned how to work the Zoom people too. Okay. So we've been speaking about social relationships, the sacredness of honor in life, which brings us. We talked about how once you testify to La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 3 things are sacred. Any Muslim's life, honor, and life, honor, and property, we cannot touch. We've been talking about honor and life, which brings us to a big question that the young brother's been asking about for a couple of weeks. So far we've quoted hadiths that warn Muslims against killing or fighting other Muslims. But what we want you all to understand is this: the life of non-Muslims is sacred too, guys. If they're not fighting against us, then we can't go around taking their life either, because Allah has declared the life of every human being to be sacred, and He has protected it. So if there's a non-Muslim, as long as they're not fighting against us, and I mean actively, you cannot do like a lot of the ignorant Muslims are doing today. Oh, they think Starbucks is part of Israel, when Starbucks ain't got nothing to do with Israel. It's an American company put together by some American dudes. They don't support no Israel. It's a franchise. Anybody can own a Starbucks. It's yours. You just paying them for the name. Those people don't support no Israel. They got their own problems. They trying to stop unionization from happening. And they losing money. They're not losing money because of no boycotts from you people. Because it's a franchise. You ain't hurting the company. You hurting whoever store you ain't going to. But they're losing money because their employees are walking off the jobs, because their employees are trying to unionize. That's my thing. Even the Starbucks here where I live, they're so crowded, it's ridiculous, because they ain't got no workers, and managers are in there breaking their necks trying to get our orders out. Okay. So just like people are stupid about that, they'll say, well, I think he's a Zionist. So because this person's a Zionist or he supports Zionism, I can fight him. No, you cannot. They have to be actively fighting against you. I'm talking about Machine Gun Kelly, and I don't mean the singer. Pretty boy. I ain't talking about pretty boy. By the way, he's from Cleveland too. Maybe I can give him some dough. But anyway, he didn't marry Megan Fox yet. No, they ain't married yet. I can give him some dough. But anyway, 2, 3, 4 anyway. Okay, but anyway, get out of here with that. Machine Gun Kelly. He is cute, little boy. But anyway, subhanAllah. He likes ethnicity too. So the person has to be actively fighting. And we went over that hadith, whereas Asma's mother came to visit with her. Her mother was Qutayla and she was a Quraysh. That's when the Quraysh were fighting against the Muslims. They were the Battle of Badr. Asma wouldn't even open the door to see her mother because she supported the Quraysh. She didn't support the Muslims. That's why Abu Bakr divorced her, because she wouldn't become Muslim. But even though she supported the Quraysh and their ideology, the Prophet says she's not actively fighting against us. So you can be nice to her. You can see her. She's not an enemy to us. So it has to be a non-Muslim that's actively fighting. You can't go around and blow up a restaurant and say that you blown it up because a bunch of Zionists own it. Are they fighting against you? No, you committed an unjust crime. Okay? And also, if the non-Muslim is of a people with whom you have a peace treaty with, their lives are sacred and it is unlawful to attack them too. For example, those non-Muslims that are allowed to live in Saudi Arabia, they work, they're engineers, doctors, lawyers, or whatever, they work there. They have an agreement. They're a non-Muslim resident of an Islamic state. When we had those terrorists committing those atrocities, what did they do? They kidnapped them people and killed them. These people, this is a big sin. You killed a dhimmi. Their lives are sacred. The Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who kills a person from among the people with whom there's a peace treaty with will never smell the fragrance of paradise. Let me explain this hadith, because this is a hadith, that's why I put it here, that one of the young brothers asked me about. They asked me, what does it mean when the Prophet said will not smell the fragrance? He said, does that mean that they're not one of us? Now, remember, we talked about this in another hadith class that I teach. The book called Not of Us. This is another book written by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. He collected hadiths from the Sitta in which the Prophet said, if you do any of these actions, you are not of us. That does not mean that you are a kafir. The Prophet is saying you are not of us in behavior. You are not of us in character. That's not the same as saying you will never smell paradise. If you can never smell paradise, what does that mean? That means you will never enter it. You will never see it. Does everybody understand that? So this hadith means that this is a sin of disbelief. Remember, I told you guys, I'm going to teach that class too. There are certain sins that we can commit as Muslims that fall in the category of disbelief. And Allah says he will forgive any sin other than disbelief. It's important that we learn the sins of disbelief. Killing a dhimmi, this is a sin of disbelief. That means Allah will never, ever, 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 ever forgive you. You will be in hell forever and ever and ever. So if a hadith says never smell paradise, that doesn't mean that Allah is going to just take away your smell. because the smell of paradise is one of the delights of it. That's one of the delights of paradise is its smell. So you ain't gonna be, there's nobody that'll be walking around in paradise unable to smell. Y'all understand the meaning of this hadith now, young brothers? So this hadith means this is a sin of disbelief. You die the death of a kafir, and you will never be forgiven. You understand? Another hadith, same hadith. Anyone who kills a dhimmi will never smell the fragrance of the paradise garden. So these hadiths are authentic. That means this is a sin of disbelief that Allah will never forgive you of. You gonna burn, baby, burn. Disco fever. You brothers got it? You be doing the John Travolta and the Olivia Newton-John. Okay? The brother said thank you. He's texting me. Yeah. Why y'all texting? Stop texting. It's taking me away from my PowerPoint. So now we're going to talk about capital punishment. And the reason why we're going to talk about it is because to show how Allah is El-Adl. Allah is El-Adl. He is forever just. Allah is more merciful than anything else. He's so merciful that there are only 3 crimes if a person commits that brings about capital punishment in Islam. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Do not take the life which Allah has made sacred except in the case of justice. So in this verse and the next, Allah mentions the 3 crimes, the only 3 crimes in which capital punishment is justified. And I want y'all to remember this. Make sure y'all take screenshots of the whole page. The first is unjust murder. What's unjust murder? That means intentional, deliberate murder. This is not accidental. This is murder which has been proved. You deliberately, intentionally did this out of anger or whatever. This crime demands retaliation, which is known in Islam as qisas. What is qisas? Qisas is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Vote for me and I'll set you free. Rap on, brothers, rap on. Dun, 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 dun. Remember that, Tiva? Fresno? Temptations. I'm sorry, guys. I told y'all the 60s messed me up. But anyway, it just hits my head. Intentional murder. I'm not talking about you were driving your car and you slipped on some ice, the car got to roll and you ran into a person and killed them. Accident, that wasn't your intention. Or you got in an accident, somebody got killed. No, that's not intentional. Allah tells us in the law of qisas, there is life for you, O people of understanding. That's the dalil. So intentional murder, if a person has been found guilty, proven to be guilty of intentionally, deliberately taking the life of someone, and again, it could be a Muslim's life you took, or it could be a non-Muslim's life you took. Qisas for you. That person can demand your life for his. So that's the first instance in which Islam calls for capital punishment. The second instance in which Allah calls for capital punishment is to commit zina with a person who is not your spouse, but it has to have been witnessed by at least 4 trustworthy people who saw you in the act doing it. If those 4 people will testify and swear by Allah that they saw you and that person actively doing the do, then this brings about capital punishment. And we have to remember, the capital punishment applies to either of the 2 who is married, which we call adultery, not fornication. The fornicator, no capital punishment. The fornicator will receive 80 lashes instead. But for the person that was married, that shows how merciful Allah is. For the person that was married and did it, it's your life, brother. As long as there are 4 people who will testify that they saw you rocking and rolling, rocking those boots in the haystack. They have to see it. Understand? Also, confession repeated 4 times before the court by the adulterer. That's the same as 4 witnesses. So say, for example, you was rocking the boots. You know, me and Mrs. Jones, we had a thing, hit it, Fresno, going on. You know, she was Mrs. Jones, and you was Mr. Jones married to Joanne. You felt bad about it. You felt guilty. So you go and confess to the judge 4 times. Then you don't need no witnesses. It brings about capital punishment. But this is in an Islamic state. I want y'all to understand our laws, as the Prophet Muhammad said, our laws are for us. You have to live in an Islamic state. If you lived in Saudi Arabia, this is what would happen to you. If you lived in Iran, this is what would happen to you. We can't do this in America. America doesn't do this. This is not an Islamic state. Okay? The third offense that brings about capital punishment is apostasy. Oh, yeah. A lot of you Muslims in America, you ex-Muslims in America better be happy that you born in the USA. Hello. Because if you was in an Islamic country and you chose Christianity over Islam, this is your fate. Does everybody understand that? Allah says, well, back in the time of the prophet, a party of the people of the book say, believe in what has been revealed to the believers at the beginning of the day. And then they reject it at the end of the day. So they can turn back from Islam. This is apostasy. Apostasy does not mean not practicing Islam. Apostasy is to denounce Islam and say you have adopted a different life, a different lifestyle, a different religion, a different ideology, a different belief system. I am no longer going to be a Muslim. I don't believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. I'm a Wiccan. I believe in Mother Nature. That's an apostate. It brings about capital punishment. And this is it. This is it. These are the only 3 crimes that Islam dotes out capital punishment to. Anything less than this is not the life. Everybody understand that? So now, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam limited capital punishment to those 3 crimes only. He said the shedding of the blood of a Muslim is not lawful except for one of these 3 reasons. Either a life for a life, a married person, not a single person, a married person who commits zina, me and Mrs. Jones, and a person who turns away from his religion. There's the source. What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari, Muslim. You also find this in Tirmidhi too. Little excerpts of it. So in any of those instances, that's when capital punishment is implemented, but it's only implemented by the proper authority after due process of law. You don't take hands into your own. You don't take a punishment into your own hands. You can't say, oh, he was cheating on my wife. Mrs. Jones is my wife, so I'm taking your life. You got to go through the proper due process of bringing forth 4 witnesses, if you was in an Islamic country, 4 witnesses and all that other stuff. We do not take the law into our own hands. You cannot become a judge and an executioner because this would result in chaos and disorder. But the judge, in the case of murder, can turn to the murderer's family, and the family can decide blood money. They can say, we don't want to take his life. We just accept the blood money. Pay us $50,000. You know, and that's based on the following verse where Allah says, and whoever is killed wrongfully, we have given authority to their family, but let him not go to excess in retaliation. In other words, if the family decides to accept the blood money, then you can't change that later and say, well, now I want to kill you too. No. Make sure you guys screenshot these hadiths. And that let me go back to there too. I want to make sure y'all did y'all get a screenshot? Hold on. I want everybody to screenshot this. There's your dalil. Let me hold it there for a couple seconds. And make sure all this stuff is printed out. Y'all print everything out after class, people. All right. And this brings us to the big debate, which is not a debate. I don't know why, when I listen to these conferences that these brothers be putting on, this question comes up and it's always somebody I ain't never heard nobody get a right answer yet. You know, Islam is cut clear. There's no gray areas. That hadith about gray areas, the Prophet is not saying that there are gray areas in Islam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. But you may not know if something is lawful or not. So until you find out, you stay away from it. He's not saying that the religion is crooked and gray. He's saying that nobody knows everything. Ask the people of knowledge. Because the lawful and the unlawful is clear. If it's haram, it will say, thou shalt not do it. If it's lawful, Allah won't mention it. The things that Allah don't mention are all lawful. Y'all understand that when it comes to everyday life? And by the way, Fresno, this is the picture I was talking about. You see it, Sabrine? Sabrine. Y'all see that? You see it?
I saw it.
That's why I was telling y'all, it's a weird picture, ain't it?
It sure is.
But it does something to me. I kind of like that morbid stuff. You know, I'm into werewolves and vampires. So I don't know what this is, but it does something to me. I like to have this hanging up somewhere as a reminder of what can happen. A sea of blood, death. I feel morbid today. Let's talk about suicide. Whatever applies to the crime of murder, it also applies to suicide, people. Y'all understand that? Whoever takes his or her life by any means whatsoever, you have committed the crime of unjustly taking a life that Allah has made sacred. Because Allah tells us in the Quran, all human life is sacred. Muslim or not, So to take your own, this is a horrific sin. Everybody understand that? Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Do not kill yourselves. Y'all see how clear that is? A clear verse means it's going to clearly say, don't do it. Allah doesn't speak in riddles. He's not going to say because 2 black birds were in the sky, that means women got to wear black jilbabs. That's ignorance. That ain't no Islam. That's a person that's got a mental problem. Needs to go learn reading comprehension. You know I'm a teacher. Y'all know I'm into the English language. Better learn how to comprehend what you read, bro. Allah is clearly saying here, do not kill yourselves because Allah is merciful to you. In other words, you have no reason to kill yourself because there's always hope. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in order to be a believer, this hadith is authentic. What's the source? What's the source? What's the source? Sahih Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in order to be a believer, you must have love for Allah, fear of his punishment, and hope of his mercy. That's the explanation of this hadith. Of this verse. When Allah says, do not kill yourselves. Indeed, Allah is merciful. He's saying, don't kill yourselves because there's always hope. There's always hope. Allah can perform miracles for you. Many of us have experienced them. Allah can make mountains move for you. You can go to sleep and wake up in a different place even. There's always hope of Allah's mercy. There's always hope of Allah's help. We should never allow Shaitan to make us think that there's no way out. That's why suicide is a sin of disbelief, just like killing a dhimmi. Now, I was listening to a lecture a year ago. Some brother, he made the comment in his lecture. And when he made this comment, I knew then he was no scholar of this religion. In fact, he doesn't understand the basics. In fact, he needs to go learn the hadiths. Somebody asked him about suicide. And this brother's answer was, there's 2 types of suicide. Now, you know, where did Allah say in the Quran, there's 2 types of taking your life? Allah says, do not kill yourself. He didn't say there's two ways to kill yourself. Suicide is to take your own life. There's only one way you do it. You just do it. Because it ain't no coming back. Subhanallah, we are so lost today. Islam teaches us as Muslims to always have faith, always have hope, and always have fear. And when we face hardships in life, we're not supposed to give up and run away. The Prophet said, never run away from the battlefield, never run away from a challenge, never run away from a hardship. Face it head on. That's what makes us different. Why are you people attracted to me? And I'm not blowing my own horn. Why is it that you brothers cannot pull yourselves away from me? It's not that you're attracted to me physically, because you brothers ain't into me like that. And I mean, that's old. You brothers cannot pull yourselves away from me because I'm challenging you to think. And you know that what I'm saying is true. I'm giving you the hope you need, the fear of Allah you should have had, and that love for him that we need. Islam teaches us that whenever life throws us a curveball, when life throws us a lemon, catch it and make lemonade out of it. Subhanallah. Because as Muslims, we were created to worship Allah. We were put here on this earth to be tested. We weren't created to sit around and play Xbox all day. We weren't created to sit around and have sex all day. We weren't created to sit around and do anything all day because we get bored. The human becomes bored of that crap. Life is a circle, meaning it goes up, that what goes around comes around. But it's filled with roller coaster rides. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. And Allah made it that way for us. Allah creates the scenarios. Allah creates the backgrounds, the environments. Allah pulls the string, but we make the choices as to whether we're going to fight, whether we're going to be strong, or whether we're going to give in and cave in. Subhanallah. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, guys, that we should work on having a strong iman. Our faith should be unshakable like those companions were. They had unshakable faith. And Allah sent them victory after victory after victory, and they had none of the technology or people and numbers that we have today. So suicide, I don't care what no famous brother tell you. Like I tell you guys, just because a person went to the University of Medina, just because a person went to the University of Mecca, just because a person went to the University of Al-Azhar, that don't mean nothing. They just a person that spent their time going to school. Hikmah is a gift. El-Furqan, Allah says in the Quran, El-Furqan comes from him, not from man. Can't nobody give you that. He said it comes from me, and I only give it to a select few. Y'all understand that? So knock yourself out in those universities, bro, and keep on making fatwas saying that people can smoke marijuana. Keep on making fatwas saying there's two types of suicides. One Allah will forgive you of, and one he won't, when you can't prove nothing that you say out your mouth. But this woman here, this old woman here, who ain't graduated from no Islamic university, but I've had 3 of the best teachers of this era, real scholars. And one of them is still living. May Allah preserve Sheikh Mustafa Morsi. Ameen. And may Allah forgive the sins of Qaradari and Umar el-Ashkar. Those were my 2 teachers too. So I've had the best to break this down and explain to me that Islam is only based on 2 sources, the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet, and can't nobody issue a fatwa or a verdict or anything to supersede it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us in numerous hadiths that anyone who commits the crime of suicide will be deprived of the mercy of Allah and will never, ever, ever enter the garden of paradise, he will deserve the wrath of Allah, and he will be cast into the hellfire forever, as he should be, because he gave up on himself. And most importantly, he gave up on Allah. Never give up on Allah, guys. You understand that? Never. He will move mountains for you. I've witnessed it. He will take you out of that darkness and give you light. You can be in a bed like one of my best students here, who I love and respect like a mother. She's 100 years old almost. By herself. Could have lost her foot. Could have lost her whole leg all alone. This old woman with no one to take care of her. Can't walk. Can't move. What did she do? Did she kill herself? No. She raised her hands from her bed. She said, "Oh Allah, I value cleanliness because you taught me that cleanliness brings me closer to you." She said, "I'm laying in this bed. I can't go to the bathroom. I've urinated on myself. I've defecated on myself. I can't walk because my foot has been cut. Don't know if I'll ever be able to walk. I can't get to the food. I can't get to the toilet. Oh Allah, send your help to me." And as soon as she raised her hands and put him back in the bed, the phone rang. It was a neighbor who called to tell her, "Hello, Miss Anissa. How are you? I was just checking on you. My daughter, she works as a home aide. Do you need someone to come over and help you?" Just like that. In 5 seconds, Allah sent the miracle to Anissa. And this was just 3 days ago. She didn't give up on herself. She didn't give up on Allah. But you brothers call yourselves scholars of Islam. You travel around the world doing conferences. And you're telling people that they can kill themselves? That there's 2 types of suicide? Shame on you, brothers. We women run circles around you. Subhanallah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "In the days before you, a man fought bravely on the battlefield, and he was wounded. His wounds were so painful that he took a knife and he cut his wrist and allowed himself to bleed out. Allah then said, 'My slave fought furiously. My slave fought heroically, but he rushed in the matter of his life. Therefore, he will be deprived of the garden of paradise for eternity.'" This hadith is Bukhari and Muslim. How dare you, brothers, tell the youth of this nation that there's a justifiable suicide when the evidence is so clearly against what you brothers say out your mouths, and you wonder why Allah has sent war. Subhanallah. So, whenever you read a hadith that a person will be deprived of the garden of paradise, it means exactly what it says. That means you'll never enter it. Just like when you read the hadith that a person will never smell the fragrance of paradise, that means they'll never enter it, because these are the joys of paradise. See why we got to learn from the people of knowledge? We got to learn from the true people of knowledge. I learned the meaning of these hadiths, and I don't speak Arabic fluently. Even though I'm Arab, I was born in the USA. Hello, I'm half Arab and half American. Really, half Arabic and half Viking. And the rest is all Bantu. But I had good teachers. My teachers were real scholars of this ulama. Everybody knew them. They were scholars of the Quran. They were scholars of the hadith. And may Allah bless them and forgive them of their sins and shield them from all the vicious slander that these youth today say of them. Because even though I couldn't speak Arabic, these men, because of who my family is, who my uncles were, they took the time with translators to teach me the meaning of these hadiths. And may that be a barakah for them. And then when they had to go, they sent me the best of the best, Sheikh Mustafa Morsi, who to this day continues to break these hadiths down to me. I wish these famous brothers that y'all listen to on YouTube, I wish these famous brothers who y'all love so much and y'all follow them, and y'all, it's millions of hits they get. I can't get 20. I wish these brothers with all their degrees, I wish they had even one of the teachers I had. So maybe they would stop misleading the youth of this nation, making them think that something as horrendous as suicide could ever be lawful. Also, we have another hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever throws himself from off a rock and commits suicide, he will be throwing himself into the hellfire. Whoever drinks poison and kills himself will have that poison in his hand, drinking it forever. Y'all hear that? Forever. Forever in the hellfire. And whoever kills himself with a weapon will get there off the mic. Whoever kills himself with a weapon will have that weapon in his hand, stabbing himself forever in the hellfire. And what's the source? What's the source? What's the source, oh muftis? Bukhari and Muslim. Subhanallah. 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 It's really sad. Every time I teach this class and I speak about suicide, it's so hard for me because over the years of giving dawah online, I've seen so many Muslim youths join up with terrorist groups and end up taking their lives and all this crazy stuff. I've had young men to this day, oh, Sheikh so-and-so, Mufti so-and-so said, I don't care what Sheikh and Mufti anybody said. What did Allah say? What did the Prophet say? Read the Arabic. It's forever. Forever. There's no two types. Who made this lie up? Under no circumstances do we give up hope. And I want all the young kids listening to me. I have a lot of children that follow me. Don't ever lose hope in this world. I don't care how bad life gets. I told you guys, Allah works miracles. I tell you all the time, Latifah's here. Latifah's known me since I was 12. We grew up in some bad times. The civil rights era, the Nation of Islam era, the Black Power, Black Panther era, the Dar al-Islam era. I'll never forget. I was 16 years old, married. I had 2 stepchildren. My husband went out of town. I was sitting on the phone talking to Latifah and my other best friend, Aisha. Next thing I knew, a big crash. Somebody had driven past my house and threw a big boulder looking rock through a window and crashed it. I'm 16. I got 2 stepchildren who are half my age. I said, Latifah, Aisha, somebody just threw something through my window. I have anxiety. These were bad times. These were the times when the Nation of Islam didn't like the Dar al-Islam. We were propagating La ilaha illallah, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. They were propagating Elijah Muhammad. War times. I was terrified. I called the mosque. The mosque said, don't worry, Sister Layla. We'll have some brothers, patrolling by the house to check on you all night. They just going through the neighborhood. But I was scared because even though I was living the life of a woman, because I was a woman, I was married, I'm still a kid. I was 16, a teenager. My stepson was 10 years younger than me. My stepdaughter, 9 years. We were all kids. So I took the kids, we got in the bed, I put them in the bed with me, we got up underneath the blanket, and I stayed on the phone with Latifah and Aisha, talking to them all the night. Of course, Latifah fell asleep. She always do, on the phone. But I stayed on that phone with Aisha until I fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up at Fajr, and there was a mist, a cloud, all around outside. You couldn't see nothing. That window was still open, and I had put a blanket over it. But I looked outside, there was a fog. Like, where did this fog come from? So I opened the door. I went outside. My whole house, wallahi, I'll never forget it. My whole house was surrounded by cats. There were hundreds of cats. I don't know where they came from. Never saw them again. I called my mother. I said, Mom, there's a bunch of cats here. Big cats, little cats, white cats, black cats, gray cats. They were surrounding the whole house. And when I looked outside, I said, Mom, they all looked at me. They got up. They were laying down in the grass all around the whole house. They got up and they nodded at me and walked away. And I said, Mom, she said, Allah sent the angels, Layla. My mother said, Allah sent his angels to protect you and those children. And after that, my husband came home. Because when he heard what happened, he immediately came back into town. He drove up in his Park Avenue. Remember that Park Avenue, Tifa? Oh, I just thought about it. He had a Park Avenue. That was a bad car, man. Back in the 80s, 90s, 80s, whatever it was. He drove up. He got out that car. He said, you okay? I said, I'm fine. And I just jumped in his arms. I said, but the cats. He said, what cats? They were walking away. And my mother said, Allah sent the angels to protect you. So I want you kids to know you never give up hope. I don't care what type of situation you think you in. Suicide is not the way. You got to have hope that Allah will rescue you, that Allah will be there for you, sisters. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. And I think I've proven, for the young brothers here, I think I've proven that suicide is haram. Period. Dot. I don't care what Mufti Sheikh, Kamadam, Salafi doesn't told you. Y'all got to get out of that crap. Subhanallah. All right, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in because this topic is sensitive for me because I lost someone years ago, a young girl who was in her teens, and it's very important the language that we put out there, especially with young children and us being in family, and just having the family just say anything when you're in an uncomfortable situation, that happens. And Allah is the one that creates these situations. But she decided it was best for her and best for everyone around that she didn't, she wasn't around no more. So she found herself just jumping off of a building. And we were young. I was like 12. And she was like 17 years old. But years later, looking back and, the family's like, what happened? Everybody had to take a look at themselves and how they spoke to the person and the dynamics all within themselves. Like, we can look later in life and say, hey, we have hope in Allah, even though she was a Muslim. But because of our belief in our Lord and what He has told us and promised us and teaches us on a daily basis, even for those who are not Muslim, just saying something and reassuring them like, hey, it's never a good choice to go ahead, no matter what's going on in your life, to just feel like, a temporary problem, this is a permanent solution to that. And always reminding them of that. But it's reassuring to hear your story of, we always think that we're alone. Allah is always listening to us, sees the situation and knows the situation before it happens to us. So beforehand, He knows what to have in line to protect the believers, to protect you, and to teach you at the same moment. It may frazzle us, but Allah's just chuckling like, she's just getting a grasp, a little, view of what I can do to spark her faith and keep her in line. So that story alone had to happen to you to teach other people, and have their iman refreshed. So yeah, it's something good, because during the times that we're in and everything that's going on and the craziness that we see, like subhanAllah, these people are going crazy, they're mad. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave us these warnings of the end of times and, how people would be taken out. And, sometimes people just get down and out. But at the same time, having these refreshers in our hearts, no matter what we're going through, to see Allah is still in control. Allah still has it, that we can't lose faith. And losing our faith is the sign of disbelief, one of the signs of disbelief, that we got to keep holding on. We got to keep knowing and have these constant iman refreshers. And these stories are refreshing. So this is a biggie in our life right now. So alhamdulillah, we got to say thank you. Thank Allah first by thanking the people, so we thank Him. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. And alhamdulillah, it was a good refreshment. That's all.
That's my little Geechee, guys. Yeah. Très bien. Très bien. She did very good. Very good. That's my Geechee. Yeah, like I say, guys, we need to have these reminders. You know, and I know you brothers, I feel bad for the youth, Muslim youth. You brothers get caught up in these conferences and these brothers talking all this stuff, this political garbage. And I mean, it bothers me. You know, I mean, you guys got to be careful when it comes to this religion. Be careful who you take your knowledge from, who you take your information from. Islam is based on Quran and Hadith, not Quran and fatwa, not Quran and some sheikh. Okay, it's not. And when people tell you something is haram, it's the burden of proof is on them to give you the clear evidence. If they can't give you the clear proof, then it's lawful, then it's not haram. But I've given you the clear proof. Under no doubt can anyone question whether suicide is lawful or not. Those hadiths, all those hadiths I gave you were straight from Bukhari. That verse in the Quran is straight from the Quran. They say never. They say forever. It's clear. The nas is clear. So y'all have to be careful running around behind these extreme brothers who looking for fame or whatever gain they looking for. And they telling you garbage that they can't back up with proof. Proof is not a fatwa. Proof is not what Sheikh so-and-so said. Proof is what I gave y'all. Clearly from the authentic hadiths. Y'all understand that? Don't be deluded about women. Don't think that there's no intelligent women out there. Women are more intelligent than men. Don't y'all know that? We always have been more intelligent than men. Listen to us, the ones that are intelligent. Subhanallah. All right, any other questions or comments?
I had a comment that basically I think as far as in the youth too, as a parent, that the parents need to learn how to talk to their children as well. You know, find out how your kid is doing, how his day is, you know what I'm saying, or just a girl, because right now so many Muslims has it bad when they trying to fit in, or when they trying to you know, they want to be the eyeball or whatever, and a lot of kids just want to try to stick to their religion. So to me, it's better for a parent to basically talk to their kid, make sure their kid not being depressed, and also look for ways that can help them. If it's talking to someone, or taking them out, or just doing anything that's entertaining to them to get them out of that depression mode. I think the parents should be able to do that and talk to their kid, you know, tell them they love them, you know, just everything.
And watch what your kids are looking at on TV, and watch their social media pages, because I'm telling you, those dead bodies. Don't have your children looking at dead bodies on the internet. Dead babies. I got some students here. Is Brother Ahmad here? Okay. I'm telling you, I had to tell my brother Ahmad, you know, don't look at no more videos about Palestine and Gaza. Stop watching it, because I could see it was affecting him. You know, death. We do fear death. But death can take you out of here emotionally. Okay, that's the one thing that man will never understand, because ain't nobody died and came back to tell you about it. Watch what your children are looking at on television. Watch their social media pages. Make sure that they're not surrounded by depressing images, depressing people. Let them know what's going on in the world. But do it with dignity. Do it with balance, and screen them from that which can cause them to sink into depression and lose hope. Okay? Seriously, some of you adults, you need to stop looking at social media pages. And I keep telling these brothers, y'all need to stop posting up dead bodies on y'all pages, because you're affecting the ummah in a bad way. The Muslims are not strong. The strong ones are the ones that's going through that drama. The rest of the Muslims ain't strong like that. So you're turning them away from it. You're making them scared, and you're depressing this nation. Everybody knows what's going on in Gaza. It's everywhere. We can't get away from it. Okay? And we don't want to. We pray for our brothers and sisters. But you guys are taking it to the extreme, to the point where the children are having nightmares, can't sleep. Adults are depressed, can't hold it together, breaking down. Stop it. That's why the prophet taught us that we don't display our fall in that way. We don't display our fall in that way, and we don't display the kafirs' fall in that way either. He told the companions, cover them bodies up. And he told the companions, do not drag the women through the battlefield to see their dead fallen. Nobody wants to remember their people at their worst. That causes nightmares. It causes depression. It causes suicide for those who are weak at heart. So you brothers, you Muslim daya, stop it. Take them pictures down, man. Who are you trying to hurt? You're hurting us, your nation, and you're hurting yourself. Because I see a lot of you brothers cracking. And I know it's because it's got to your brain too. It'll get to anybody's. Subhanallah. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Lawful and Unlawful. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow we have this call. Tomorrow we have the Sunnahfollowers Kids program for the children. That's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also tomorrow, we have Mukhtar, my cousin Mukhtar, doing the life of the prophet. That is tomorrow, right, y'all? It's on Sunday, right? Yeah. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was not today. I had to get it together. I'm confused on days. The other brother be next week. Okay, so tomorrow we have the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also my class at 6, and this class again tomorrow night. Please order the book by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli, because when I'm done with this topic, because we're almost done, we're going to go over those pillars again. I'm never going to stop teaching. My dawah centers around Aqidah, Hadith. That's my specialty. These brothers go to these universities, get these degrees. Oh, their specialty is this. Well, my specialty is Aqidah, and Hadith. And I can tell you the source. It's up here. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close out for right now. If you guys have any comments, the Zoom room, remember the Zoom room is open 24 hours. You can join us in the Zoom room. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Please support us. We need this. This is the first of the month. We don't have but $100 in our account, guys. And we got to come back up with 2,000 again for the next month. Okay, so please scan this QR code and support us. Yeah, somebody has something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say it real quick to remind them about their place of employment and how they can put Sunnah followers as a place that is they could donate to as far as charity and claim it on their, I think it's their tax returns. Yeah, I don't think they did that though. I didn't get nobody that responded except the one sister. Yeah, but don't forget, guys, you can add Sunnah followers as a tax exempt for your at your job, that United Way charity fund thing they do every year. You can write, instead of donating to the CAF organizations, put Sunnah followers down. Put us down as a place, a donate, you know, and they'll take it out your check. We are a 503c website, you know, nonprofit organization. So please support us, guys. We desperately need these donations. This is,
I'm stressed out because it's the first of the month. We can ready to go through every month. We go over it again. We need the 2,000, and I don't know what to do. And y'all see, I'm working around the clock using streaming programs, 10 computers, putting out. Y'all see the shorts we put out? Y'all see the short videos that Brother Ahmad's been making and putting out? And I put out a couple of shorts too from yesterday's Q&A. You know, share our videos, guys. Share our stuff. You know, share, like, and subscribe to my website. Like and subscribe to our videos. So each video, put a check on them. All that stuff raises up so we can try to get money. It's going to take us a while before we make any money off our stuff. The website will eventually pay for itself, but we got to get over 10,000 subscribers for that. And we have to have some 3.5 or something watch time hours. And we ain't at none of that. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to close out for right now. Those brothers telling y'all that Sunnah followers, let me tell you how many they got. I looked at one of them brothers' website. They got 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 subscribers, and you telling these people that suicide is okay. 50,000 subscribers. I only got 9,000 at my website. That's pathetic. I'll never be able to make the money here to pay for this website. I'll never get 50,000 subscribers. I've had 9,000 forever. That's all I ever had. All right, guys, I'm going to log out. We'll be in the Zoom room. Inshallah, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. We're in the Zoom, inshallah.